Sometimes pets have accidents, and sometimes they leave a mess behind, and the owners are embarrassed, and the dogs are embarrassed. And then what do you do? So I was really excited when I found Allie Smith today and that she was going to be able to come on our show. And the reason I was excited is because she has trained over 1,200 dogs. So she used to be a pet sitter, and then she moved into being a pet trainer. And she's got one of the best dog blogs that is up and running right now. And so she's got a wealth of information for us. And she's the owner of a company called Rebarkable. Isn't that a cool name? So please help me welcome Allie Smith to our show. How are
Hi.
you today?
Good. Thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to get the opportunity to talk to your audience because I think, we all love our animals and we all want the best for them. And it's going to be a really interesting one to dive into.
Tell me about puppy proof space.
Ah.
What is that and how does that work?
Clean up. That's the simple way of putting it. Is
Okay.
put a lot of your cleaning products away, put your wires out of reach, put Nana's table and antique vase out of reach. Just minimize what puppy has access to because dogs don't generalize learning that well, certainly as a puppy. So we also get a lot of problems then, like when, oh my God, my puppy was totally toilet trained and we went over to my aunt's house and he peed on their rug. I can't believe it. It's like, has puppy ever seen a rug before? Has puppy ever actually been on a rug?
Mm,
What you don't realize, your puppy's just learned, I don't pee on hard surfaces.
mhm.
And then when he goes into your aunt's house and there is a rug, he's like, oh, I can pee on this. This is okay. Pees on that. And then it's like world over. But puppies make mistakes. And sometimes their learning isn't necessarily where we think it is. And that's where the puppy proof space is really important. Because if we can at least create a space that they
Mhm,
understand almost explicitly that
mhm.
this is a no-go zone, whether that's a crate or a playpen or a certain room, it just creates a small learning environment that they can then slowly expand and you can help them expand and generalize over time as opposed to going, here's a whole house, have fun.
Mhm. Well, and I guess, I mean, I've never really thought of it that way, but I guess in a sense that's a whole lot like humans. We teach a
Yeah,
human that the bathroom is where you do your business. You don't do it
exactly.
all over the house. You just
No,
go in this room, and when you're in this
exactly.
room, here's what happens in there.
Exactly. And weirdly enough, the human analogy goes further because, the stories about the kids that end up pooping in the cupboard or something. If you punish your dog, the same thing happens. So, if you use punishment to train a puppy, where not to go, they can end up just hiding from you and assuming that it's if mum sees me go there,
Uh-huh.
I'll get in trouble. Whereas if they hide it and mum doesn't see it, then we go back to the awful treasure hunt. They won't get in trouble. So it's a really weird juxtaposition that punishment is like this weird false equivalency. And our
Uh-huh.
dogs really struggle to understand that. So, yeah.
Well, it sounds like, and in Psychology 101, we learned that the
Mhm.
behavior you reward is the behavior that is repeated. And so,
Bingo.
what I'm hearing you say is that when your dog uses the puppy proof space properly,
Mhm.
that's when they should be rewarded. Like, hey, you
Yeah.
used the potty. Yay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You rubbed your chin and you got rid of all the dribbles and the slobber.
Yeah.
Yay, that's a
Yeah.
reward. You
Yeah.
came in from outside and you wiped your hands on the little
Yeah.
mat that was there for your wet paws. Yay, that's a
Perfect.
reward
Yeah.
to train that behavior, so that's the behavior that's repeated. Is that, am I
Absolutely.
understanding that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's operant conditioning and classical conditioning all combined. And it just means that you're shaping the dog that's easy to live with as opposed to punishing. And that then goes back to the psychology experiments too, doesn't it? Like when, if you entered the one I love or the thought processes that I love is if you entered a room with 100 chairs, one chair's yours, but nobody told you which one. And every time you sat on the wrong chair, you got a small static shock. Every time you sat on the wrong chair, you would get really frustrated because you'd be like, just tell me where you want me to sit and I will sit down. Whereas if somebody gave you a $5 bill, £5 note, wherever you are in the world, whatever, for sitting in the right one, you'd sit there next time a lot quicker, and
Mhm,
you wouldn't be worried about where you were meant to be. You'd go, well, last time they gave me a fiver for sitting here, so I'll
mhm.
sit here. And it takes all of that guesswork out. And the more we can take the guesswork out for our dogs or cats, whichever, same science works with cats. Same science works with killer whales. If you want to keep one of them, there would be a bit of a mission in a normal house. But if that's your jam, Why not?
This has been really highly interesting. Thank you so much, Ali,
No
for
problem.
joining us today and for having this conversation. I want to thank all of you guys that joined us and have all of your comments here. If there's anything we missed, because we do have some here about anxiety and what happens with your dog, we will answer those questions for everybody that's watching the replay and also for those of you that joined us that we didn't get your questions answered. Thanks again for today. Until we meet again, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.
Thanks very much for having me.